It was a crisp autumn morning in the small town of Pineville. The leaves were turning shades of gold and crimson, blanketing the streets in a kaleidoscope of colors. Birds chirped merrily as they fluttered from tree to tree, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of pine and freshly fallen leaves. It was the perfect day for an adventure, though young Tommy had no idea just how adventurous it would be. Tommy was a lively 8-year-old with a mop of curly brown hair and bright blue eyes that sparkled with curiosity. He loved exploring the woods near his house, pretending to be a brave explorer on a mission to uncover hidden treasures. That morning, he decided to take his trusty wooden sword and set off into the woods, his imagination running wild with thoughts of buried gold and ancient secrets. As he wandered deeper into the forest, Tommy's mind was so full of fantastical thoughts that he almost missed the faint whimpering sound. He stopped in his tracks, ears straining to catch the noise again. There it was, a soft, pitiful whimper coming from behind a cluster of bushes. Tommy pushed the branches aside and gasped at what he saw. There, tangled in the underbrush, was a small, shivering puppy. Its fur was a mix of white and brown, but it was matted with dirt and leaves. The puppy looked up at Tommy with big, pleading eyes, its tiny body trembling with cold and fear. Without a second thought, Tommy knelt down and gently scooped the puppy into his arms. "Hey, there, little guy," Tommy whispered soothingly. "It's okay. I've got you." The puppy snuggled into Tommy's chest, its whimpers gradually subsiding as it felt the warmth of his embrace. Tommy stood up and looked around, wondering where the puppy had come from. There was no sign of anyone nearby, and he couldn't hear any other dogs barking in the distance. "Looks like you're lost," Tommy said softly. "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." He carefully carried the puppy back through the woods, making his way home. As he walked, he wondered how his parents would react to the unexpected guest. His mother was kind-hearted and loved animals, but his father had always been more practical, worrying about the responsibilities that came with having a pet. When Tommy finally emerged from the woods and approached his house, he saw his mother tending to the flower beds in the front yard. Her face lit up with a smile when she saw him, but her eyes widened in surprise when she noticed the puppy cradled in his arms. "Tommy, where did you find that puppy?" she asked, setting down her gardening tools and hurrying over. "In the woods, Mom," Tommy explained. "It was all alone and scared. Can we keep it? Please?" Tommy's mother looked at the puppy, her expression softening. She reached out and gently stroked its head, and the puppy nuzzled her hand appreciatively. "Well, it looks like this little one needs a home," she said, smiling. "Let's get it inside and cleaned up first. Then we can talk to your father about it." Tommy's heart swelled with hope as they brought the puppy inside. His mother filled a small basin with warm water and set to work cleaning the dirt and leaves from its fur. Tommy helped by holding the puppy still and talking to it in soothing tones. Once the puppy was clean, they could see that it was a beautiful little creature, with soft, fluffy fur and bright, inquisitive eyes. "We should give it a name," Tommy said excitedly. "How about Max?" His mother chuckled. "Max it is. Now, why don't you go get some old towels from the laundry room? We need to dry Max off and make a cozy spot for him to rest." Tommy rushed off to gather the towels, his mind racing with thoughts of all the fun he would have with Max. He returned with an armful of towels and helped his mother create a soft bed for the puppy in a corner of the living room. Max curled up on the towels, letting out a contented sigh as he settled down. Just then, Tommy's father walked in, his eyes widening in surprise when he saw the puppy. "What's all this?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. Tommy's mother explained how Tommy had found the puppy in the woods and how it seemed to have no home. Tommy watched his father's face anxiously, hoping he would agree to let them keep Max. After a moment of consideration, Tommy's father sighed and smiled. "Well, it looks like Max here needs a family. As long as we all pitch in to take care of him, I don't see why we can't give him a home." Tommy let out a whoop of joy and threw his arms around his father. "Thank you, Dad. I promise I'll take good care of him." Over the next few days, Tommy and Max became inseparable. They played in the yard, explored the woods together, and even shared bedtime stories at night. Max quickly adapted to his new home, and his playful, loving nature brought joy to the entire family. One afternoon, while Tommy and Max were playing in the yard, a woman walked by and stopped at the gate. She looked to be in her early 30s, with a worried expression on her face. Tommy noticed her staring at Max and walked over to see if she needed help. "Excuse me," the woman said, her voice trembling slightly. "Is that your puppy?" Tommy nodded proudly. "His name is Max. I found him in the woods a few days ago." Tears welled up in the woman's eyes, and she covered her mouth with her hand. "Max? That's my dog. He went missing last week, and I've been searching everywhere for him." Tommy's heart sank. He looked back at Max, who was happily chasing a butterfly, unaware of the emotional exchange happening at the gate. He felt a lump form in his throat as he realized what he had to do. "Are you sure he's your dog?" Tommy asked, hoping against hope that she was mistaken. The woman nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Yes, I'm sure. His name is Max, and he's been my companion for 2 years. I was devastated when he disappeared." Tommy felt a pang of sadness, but knew he had to do the right thing. "I'll go get my mom," he said quietly. He ran into the house and explained the situation to his mother. She sighed and hugged him tightly. "I'm proud of you, Tommy. It's not easy, but we have to return Max to his rightful owner." Tommy and his mother walked back to the gate with Max trotting behind them. When Max saw the woman, he barked excitedly and ran to her, jumping into her arms. The woman hugged him tightly, crying tears of joy. "Thank you so much," she said, looking at Tommy and his mother with gratitude. "You have no idea how much this means to me." Tommy watched as the woman walked away with Max, his heart aching with the loss of his new friend. He knew he had done the right thing, but it didn't make it any easier. His mother put an arm around his shoulders and gave him a comforting squeeze. "Sometimes doing the right thing is hard, but it shows what a good person you are," she said gently. "I'm proud of you, Tommy." Tommy nodded, wiping away a tear. "I just hope Max will be happy with her." "I'm sure he will be," his mother replied. "And who knows? Maybe we'll find another puppy who needs a home someday." Days turned into weeks, and although Tommy missed Max, he found comfort in knowing he had helped reunite him with his owner. He continued to explore the woods and go on adventures, always keeping an eye out for another lost animal in need of help. One Saturday morning, as Tommy was playing in the yard, he heard a familiar bark. He turned around and saw Max running towards him, his tail wagging furiously. Behind him was the woman who had claimed Max, smiling warmly. "Hi, Tommy," she called out. "Max and I wanted to come visit you. He's been missing you a lot." Tommy's face lit up with joy as he knelt down to hug Max. "I've missed you too, buddy." The woman approached and knelt beside Tommy. "I can't thank you enough for finding Max and taking care of him. I know he loves you very much. That's why I wanted to ask if you'd like to come visit us sometimes and play with Max." Tommy's eyes widened with excitement. "Really? I'd love that." From that day on, Tommy and Max enjoyed regular playdates. The bond they had formed during those few days in the woods remained strong, and their friendship continued to grow. Tommy learned that sometimes doing the right thing could lead to unexpected and wonderful outcomes. He cherished the moments he spent with Max and the new friend he had made in Max's owner. And so, life in Pineville went on, filled with adventures, new friendships, and the comforting knowledge that kindness and doing the right thing always brought joy, not just to others, but to oneself as well.